Memorial services in Seoul and Yeonpyeong Island marked the 4-year anniversary of a fatal North Korean shelling of the island on the northern limit line. For the first time since the government began gathering population statistics, women are likely to outnumber males next year, reversing a very long trend. And Korea will soon introduce an early earthquake alert system that could help save lives in the event of an earthquake. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, November 24th. I'm Luke Clary. 4 years ago, North Korea shelled the military base and civilian homes on Yeonpyeong Island in the Yellow Sea, killing 4 people. On Sunday, memorial events marking the 4th anniversary of the attack were held in Seoul and Yeonpyeong Island to remember the victims and boost South Korea's security resolve.
On November 23rd of year 2010, North Korea fired roughly 170 artillery shells toward Yeonpyeong Island in South Korea's Yellow Sea. The South Korean military fired back, but the attack left 4 people dead, including a Marine, and 16 wounded. The participants of the 4th anniversary memorial service prayed for the victims and reconfirmed their commitment to defend the nation.
무엇보다 안보 현실을 직시해야 합니다. 우리가 누리는 자유와 평화가 저절로 주어진 것이 아니라는 분명한 사실을 결코 잊지 말아야 할 것입니다.
The students of Yeonpyeong Island who had witnessed the shelling of their villages held a performance in hopes that no such tragedy would be repeated. Events denouncing North Korea's provocations and remembering the victims were also held at a peace memorial park on the island and the alma mater of the deceased. The ruling Saenuri Party reminded people that North Korea could launch military provocations at any time and called for a stronger security stance. Meanwhile, the opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy asked the government to act proactively to prevent the recurrence of such attacks and restore trust between the two Koreas.
Until recently, the population of men in Korea always outnumbered the population of women, due in part to the traditional preference for baby boys among parents. But starting next year, the situation will likely reverse. And for the first time since the government began gathering population statistics, women are likely to outnumber males.
This park in downtown Seoul used to be crowded with elderly men, but nowadays it's not uncommon to see elderly women here as well.
보육사를 가나 어느 사례를 가봐도요, 할머니들이 더 많아, 남자분들보다.
Statistics Korea projects that the number of women in the nation will reach 25,310,000 next year, outnumbering the male population by 10,000 for the first time since the government began gathering population statistics in 1960. The change stems from the plunging birth rate and society's rapid aging. As of last year, 105.3 boys were born per 100 girls. But despite the prevalence of boys, the nation's birth rate remains one of the lowest in the world. As a result, men still outnumber their female counterparts in the population among people younger than 64. However, there are more women than men among those who are 65 and older.
여성의 기대 여명이 남성보다 더 높다 보니까 여성의 인구가 남성보다 조금 더 많게 되는데 기여를 한다고 볼 수는 있습니다.
According to Statistics Korea, as the population of women of an advanced age continues to surge, the number of people 65 and older is expected to grow from 6.39 million this year to 7.12 million in 2017. The ratio of older people will surpass 14% of the country's entire population, officially making Korea an aging society. Korean society has been aging at a faster pace each year. By 2026, it's predicted to become an ultra-age society, with the population of people who are over 65 years old surpassing 20% of the entire population.
Earthquakes rocked Japan and China over the weekend, causing anxiety in the neighboring countries. Earthquake experts say that it's hard to predict when an earthquake may occur, but damage could be minimized with the earliest possible detection. And just like in Japan, Korea is to introduce such an early earthquake alert system.
Breaking news about an earthquake interrupts the TV program. The countdown begins before the shockwaves arrive at the station, and 30 seconds later, the building starts shaking. Japan introduced an early earthquake alert system in 2007 to deliver the latest information to citizens as quickly as possible. In a matter of seconds, high-speed trains and production lines at major plants come to an immediate halt. People evacuate to safety and minimize damages by following the instructions given through the alert system. Earthquake waves come in two stages. The weaker primary wave, or P wave, is the first to arrive at seismograph stations, followed by the stronger secondary wave, or S wave, a few seconds later. The early alert system detects the P wave and issues a warning. When a P wave is detected from 200 kilometers away, an earthquake warning can be issued about 20 seconds in advance. Such an early alert system will be put in place in Korea next year.
시간을 점차 단축시켜 나가서 2020년부터는 지진이 발생한 곳으로부터 10초 이내에 정보를 발표할 계획입니다.
But the problem is in the delivery system. Currently, earthquake information from the Korea Meteorological Administration must go through third parties like the National Emergency Management Agency and broadcasting stations before reaching the public. Experts point out that in order to secure the crucial golden time, the KMA must issue earthquake alerts directly to the general public.
Bugs could join the ranks of staple foods in the near future because they're rich in protein and easy to produce. In fact, a growing number of farmers in Korea are growing interested in raising edible bugs.
A table is covered with delicious food, from bread and salads to deep-fried delicacies. All of these light-tasting and nutritious dishes were made with edible insects. 100 grams of insect meat contains up to 50% protein, more than twice as much as beef. Currently, only two kinds of insects are permitted for eating in Korea: mealworm and white-spotted flower chafer larvae. The government predicts the insect industry market will more than double from its current value of $135 million if it's expanded to include edible insects as well.
국내 시장의 육류 산업이 17조 원이라고 합니다. 그래서 거기에 1%만 해도 1,700 시장이 앞으로 쓸 것으로 예상이 돼 갖고.
Edible insects have a high chance of becoming a lucrative source of income for farmers because insects are easy to raise and don't take up much space.
학생들을 위한 이 체험 공간, 이 사료라든가 이 식재료 이런 것들을 생산함으로써 아마 많은 소득원이 될 걸로.
However, actually persuading consumers to eat insects remains a stumbling block toward their successful commercialization.
The 3D printer, which can produce almost any three-dimensional object, is revolutionizing the medical industry. It's become much easier with a 3D printer to produce medical devices customized to each patient, bringing new hope to countless people.
The 3D printer creates a plastic splint in just 6 hours. The splint is specially customized to fit the patient's hand. It used to take 3 or 4 days to manually craft the splint.
3D이다 보니까 굉장히 정확하게 이렇게 만들어지고 있더라고요. 그리고 수정하고 아이에 맞게 또 수정하는 그 과정 자체가 굉장히 짧은 시간을 필요로 하기 때문에.
Recently, Korean doctors performed successful surgeries with an artificial joint and a cranial bone made by 3D printers. Doctors even make 3D printer-generated models to plan for difficult procedures like double jaw surgery.
어떻게 해야 될지, 아니면 이 환자가 어느 부분만큼 수술을 해야 될지, 병소 깊이가 어디까지 되는지를 더 정확하게 더 예측할 수가 있기 때문에.
At this rate, it won't be long before artificial organs can be produced by 3D printers.
2010년대 이후에 생체 적합성 재료와 3D 프린팅 기술을 접목하여 피부나 장기 같은 인체 기관을 제작하는 특허가 꾸준히 증가하고 있는 추세입니다.
The 3D printer, which is applauded as the greatest invention of the 21st century, is revolutionizing the medical industry.
In Korea, the women's employment rate remains at 50%. That's the lowest level among OECD member nations. In addition to governmental policies on raising women's employment rate, it's also important for businesses to create better working conditions for female employees. Here's how.
Ryu Mi-jin is an executive at a foreign company based in Korea. She usually begins her day by getting her children ready for school. After her kids have boarded their school bus, she's ready to go to work. She arrives at her office at 9:50 a.m. She is able to juggle parenting with her career because her company policy allows her to start and finish working an hour later.
촉박하지 않게 아이들을 먼저 케어를 하고 그다음에 아이를 보내놓고 그다음에 제 준비를 하고 출근을 하기 때문에 저도 시간 면에서는 되게 여유 있게 출근을 하는 편인 것 같아요.
Of the 100 high-ranking executives at the company, over 25% are women.
新年快乐，新年快乐.
A group of female employees is immersed in a Chinese language class. The classes are provided by their company, which produces apparel.
업무에서 중국 사람들을 이렇게 만나게 될 수도 있기 때문에 그냥 미리미리 좀 준비를 하고자 배우게 됐습니다.
Female workers make up 40% of the company's workforce. To promote their self-development, the company runs about 10 different clubs, including foreign language and flower arrangement clubs. The annual costs for running the clubs surpass $80,000 US. Both of these companies have been included in a list of the best companies for women as selected by the Great Workplace, a global research firm that evaluates companies in approximately 40 countries. For Korea to raise its low employment rate among women, it's important for businesses to prevent their female employees from suspending their careers and support their self-development.
The Chunhyang-jeon, or the story of Chunhyang, is one of the best-known classical love stories of Korea. A modernized version of the folktale is out with a focus on younger audiences.
Our protagonist, Chunhyang, rides a swing, and dressed in a sweatshirt over her traditional hanbok, she's transformed into a lively teenager. Narrators also wear trench coats instead of hanbok, drawing laughter from the audience. The new magistrate of the town, Pyeonhak-do, is described as a corrupt politician, while peasants defying tyranny are depicted as protesters. In the new version of Chunhyang-jeon, everything has been reinterpreted and recreated to fit modern viewpoints, except for that the story is told in the form of pansori, the traditional Korean musical genre.
그 춘향전이랑은 안 어울릴 수도 있는 것 같은데 그 말들이 너무 재밌게 구성이 돼 있는 거예요. 그래서 그게 되게 웃겼어요.
It marks the first time the National Changguk Company of Korea has staged a modernized version of a pansori story. The troupe has introduced various special stage effect devices used in Western musicals. In criticizing the current political situation in Korea, the modernized story of Chunhyang retains the wit, humor, and satire of its original version.
Communication with the people of today, it will speak very easily to a Korean as much as it will speak to a New Yorker.
The National Changguk Company plans to export the different Chunhyang along with co-producer and director Andre Serban, a major name in the theatrical world.
Some new musicals on the issue of sexual minorities will be staged next month. This kind of musical is growing popular among theatergoers, demonstrating a big shift in public sentiment. Here are some glimpses into the new productions.
Tall, handsome actors appear on stage as music is played. The men are all wearing long red boots. Actors have gathered to practice for a performance which will open next month. The actors who take command of the stage with feminine gestures and facial expressions are all men dressed up as women.
처음에 되게 부끄러웠는데 음악이 주는 힘도 너무 세고 작품이 그래서 그냥 너무 행복합니다. 요즘 부추를 씻는 것 자체가.
This is another large-scale musical. Actors deftly dance to an exciting tune, but their high heels can't disguise their muscular legs. The musical is about the universal theme of family life, but the main characters are a gay couple.
말하면서 표정이나 아니면 손짓이나 이런 것들이 조금 남자분들보다는 조금 많은 것들이 이제 조금 특징이 되겠죠.
Musicals dealing with sexual minorities are particularly popular among women, who account for nearly 90% of the ticket reservations.
섬세하고 부드러운 면이 같이 결합된 그런 캐릭터들을 보고 많은 여성 관객들이 좋아하고 있습니다.
Femininity is depicted by sometimes muscular, sometimes beautiful male actors. With the clash of conflicting images and unique storylines, the musicals are catching the attention of theatergoers.
A giant inflatable rubber duck on Lake Sokchon in Seoul drew some 3.6 million visitors. Meanwhile, in Seoul Square, a pig-shaped balloon was installed to promote the spirit of charity. Today, we take a look at the large character balloons that make people smile. Buses decorated like the popular cartoon character Tayo, which is an object of admiration of young kids, received a positive response from citizens. Those who take the subway are entertained during their ride by the characters from another popular cartoon, Larva.
걸어갈 때 힘든데 별로 안 힘들고 재밌는 것 같아요.
Sometimes small changes can bring much joy to people's daily lives. The rubber duck, which was put on display in Seoul until November 14th to symbolize love and peace, became a celebrity installation.
연예인 본 것 같아요. 진짜 실물 보니까 최고인 것 같아요. 대박.
20,000 toy ducks that disappeared 20 years ago were discovered by mere chance, becoming a symbol of hope.
To get you out of your normal daily life and, to let you stop.
The rubber duck is 10 times the height of an adult man. It's similar in height to a 6-story building. The rubber duck has toured 17 countries since 2007. Sometimes it was ridiculed because it got deflated or torn.
나이와 국적 혹은 성별을 막론하고 보편적인 감수성을 건드리기 때문입니다. 그래서 어른들에게는 어린 시절의 감성을, 어린아이들에게는 친숙한 동심을, 그리고 젊은 층들에게는 특별한 이 행사를 제공해 주기 때문에 모두 다 즐길 수 있는 장점이 있습니다.
To fill the void left by the rubber duck, another large balloon has appeared in Seoul Square. It's a pig-shaped balloon that will stay in Seoul for 1 month to promote the culture of donation. This balloon was designed to raise public interest in art and inspire donations to help those in need. Anyone can donate using their credit or check cards.
일단 이 기부를 통해서 어려운 예술가들을 도울 수 있고 또 다른 모든 사람들이 좀 문화를 많이 누릴 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
It took half an hour to inflate the balloon. It showed up in downtown Seoul during the morning rush hour to the surprise of commuters. Seniors take pictures and children are simply excited to see the pig balloon.
이런 기부 좋은 일을 하는데 우리도 조금이나마 동참하고 싶다. 이런 생각이 드네요.
These huge balloons don't look like conventional works of art, but they work wonders in making people smile and giving them the chance to take their minds off the worries of everyday life. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.